All right, everyone's muted. So at this point, I just want to ask everybody to please, 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 if you have any questions about anything, unmute yourself while we're going through it. Every webinar usually ends with somebody at the end trying to ask a question as I hang up on everybody. Just ask and interrupt me. Very simple rule. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. I just want to go over a few things before we hand it off to Rhett, something very cool that he's going to announce. And I just want to, stress something to you that's happening in this economy, in this industry, and literally in the world. And I'm going to just start with a quote. I was mentioning to Rhett how on the FFS side of the house, they had, I don't know why, but they posted something on Facebook that, I thought was perfectly timed for us. And it just simply said how right now in the US, we have more real estate agents than we have listings, meaning everybody in the world has gotten their real estate license, and it's becoming harder and harder for real estate agents to make a living off real estate in the booming economy. They're asking why. And part of the article, which was, again, a very good article, simply stated that when times boom, those that are doing well adapt and do better, while those that are trying to learn the ropes and wait for somebody to come teach them how to do it, they just don't have enough time to do that, and they either quit or they change company, they move on, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, when in reality it's not the case. It's astroturf on both sides, as they say. And so, anyways, I just wanted to emphasize that as we get going, because what Rhett's going to announce real soon, I think, is a game changer as it relates to technology. But I'm not going to steal his thunder, and I just wanted to share this with you. It's a quote from Eric Hoffer, and it simply says, and I quote, "In a world of change, the learner shall inherit the earth, while the learned shall find themselves perfectly suited for a world that no longer exists." And so if you knew it all in 2020, you're dead in the water in 2021. If you knew it all in January of 2021, you're dead in the water in May of 2021. So what the point that I'm making is that we always have to find out what is hitting, what's out there making things happen for those that are successful, and where's the market going, and what can I do to better myself as a loan officer and even as a realtor? Because if not, the odds are way, way against me. And so I emphasize that because it's something that we all need to be aware of. Having said that, I do want to just give everybody a free gift. First of all, we do have an update to the RMB emergency binder that everybody, not everybody, some people purchased. We're not taking new orders right now, but if you did purchase one, we're going to be rolling out in 2 weeks, because we're celebrating going back to the police departments. We are working with cops again. And that is where your buyers are. That is where the people that you want to refi and not have to worry too much about qualifying are. So if you are marketing to police already, then we're going to do this one, which is what you see here, which is the in case of emergency binder, the emergency planning binder that we spoke about for so long, a couple of months ago, last year. And it simply says everything you need, everything your family needs to know in one place in case something happens to any of us. We have the generic Radian Mortgage Bank one, as everybody knows. Everybody had theirs delivered in 2-3 days. But this is just for cops. Cops love bullet holes and guns and all this crazy stuff. And so, anyways, we're doing that because we want to help you succeed. And we are going to roll out the order form. And this is just for those, and it's free, by the way, for those that purchased the previous one. You just get an updated cover on your binder. But other than that, it's 100% free. We're not even taking orders for new ones because it's not about money. Trust me when I tell you, we don't make any money off this thing. It takes so much time to produce because they have to be produced individually. But at the end of the day, this is something that can help you better relate to the markets that you are in. And I'm telling you, law enforcement is up there with nurses, up there with some of these industries that we love to work in because they make the money, they do this, they like to spend money. But for the most part, it's a lot better than any other market out there right now, especially when it comes to today's sky-high prices as well. But here's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm not going to read it to you. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich, which I encourage you to become familiar with. Even if you read it a year ago, 10 years ago, read it again. It sold over 15 million copies worldwide for a reason. It's by far the go-to book as it relates to personal improvement. And I think that if you want your income to be better than it is today, then you have to be a better version of yourself today. And that will give you more income and more success overall tomorrow. And so again, if you haven't read it, read it. If you read it and it's been more than 30 days, read it again. And so you don't have to purchase it. Of course, I'm going to give you a free copy of it. in digital format, just go to ffsworkshops.com, ffsworkshops.com, and get a free copy of it. Also, having said that, once you get your free copy of the book, I'm telling you, don't just download it and throw it on your computer. Read it. This is a book that can most definitely help you get yourself from where you are today to where you want to be. And so you want to make sure you do the right thing and do that. Again, if you have any questions about anything as we go, please unmute yourself during this webinar. A lot of people call me and leave messages asking stuff about Saturday's webinar, which I don't ever return. This is the place. This is the stage for that. When it comes to us hanging up on this webinar, it's about success, it's about closing loans, and it's about making money. That's it. It's not about recapping anything. And if you want to recap anything, go to our YouTube channel, RMB on YouTube.com, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you click on the notifications bell, and that way you will be notified automatically when the videos or the recordings of the webinars are uploaded, in case you couldn't make it. But don't call me about something that we spoke about on Saturday. Doesn't make sense. Does not make any sense at all. Also, understand that in order, you see the background shows a church, and that's because we have been very, very fortunate with churches as it relates to home ownership seminars. Unfortunately, a lot of the churches, the medium to small size ones, are closing because they just don't have any more money. They're done. We do have the fundraising campaign that I'm not going to get into with the vacation seminars. Once you do a successful seminar with, once you do a successful home ownership seminar with the church, if you want to take it to the next level, let me know. We do have a new campaign that we're rolling out to only a limited number of agents that allows you to go back to a church that you've closed business with that has been very, very good to you, and donate a few $100, $100 to $200 max, and they will give you the ability to do that. You see this picture? That's the Rosé, Pueblo Bonito Rosé in Cabo. I'm going to be there starting Tuesday till next Saturday, but we are going to have training next Saturday. But if I send you the voicemail during the week, now you know why. I'm going to just do a quick getaway with my wife and my daughter to just relax, recharge a little bit, and come back, because I'm telling you, this is the time to work like never before. Not think about work, but actually work like never before. And so you want to go ahead and leverage everything that is going on right now. But anyways, what I wanted to just share with you, and I'm going to make this super quick, because this does not apply to 98% of you. And this is that we have a new platform that we are leveraging for churches that we have already worked with, where you've already closed loans, where you already closed transactions on the real estate side, and you just want to give back and be their true go-to person. So what this means is that you can actually go ahead and, most churches know that they're losing a lot of their membership to technology, to streaming, to apps and stuff like that. This allows you to donate to a church an app customized just for their church. It'll have their church name, their church logo, just like you see here. They put this up on the projector during service so everybody can download it. They can tithe from the actual church itself. They can receive what are called push notifications, which are not text messages, but they look like text messages that just pop up on the actual app itself on their phone, simply saying, hey, we look forward to seeing you at church tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Please arrive by 9:30. Thank you. 9:30. Thank you. Muted themselves. All right. Let's see who it is. Okay, so Barton, I'm sorry, but we have to mute you for right now. Hold on. Or watch your background noise. If you're going to unmute yourself, just watch your background noise. But anyways, and so this is very important, because one of the cool things about this, you can actually embed a link in here as part of the menu that has your information as a realtor, as a loan officer as well, and it stays with them forever. And this is not a monthly fee. This is not an annual fee. This is just a one-time fee, and you donate it to them, and it just simply lives on into perpetuity on the internet, and you can embed yourself as a go-to realtor in the actual app, where you will be part of the this app is sponsored by, and then you. So incredible tool. It has geo-fencing. What that means is that the app knows when you are close to the church or whatever. You could put a geo-fence around your church, and so as you pull up, it says, welcome to the church. We're glad to see you, glad to have you here, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want it to do, it does it all. And so again, if you wanted to do this for a church, this is only for those that have actually closed loans within the, within Radian, of course, and have closed loans that justifies this. Don't start with this. This is the second step. This is once you've already embedded yourself in there, they know you, you know them, and you just want to give more back so that they can come back to you even more as well. And so the point of it is that it allows you to do just that, which I think is one of the most powerful tools. And the most important button of all, of course, is donations, where they can actually tithe the church by tapping on one button. And if they have a Stripe account, PayPal account, whatever, it takes it all as well. It's really cool, especially when you can be the sponsor of the app and have your logo there. I'm not helping anybody on the real estate side with this unless you are part of EXP and part of my team. Other than that, I really can't help you. I'm not going to touch it on the real estate side. Try to figure it out on your own, but I cannot, and I am not committing to anything. So if you are part of another of another company or another team, I can't help you for a lot of different reasons. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't mess around with other brokers and stuff, agents and so on. If you're part of my team on the EXP side and you're interested in leveraging this for purposes of churches through real estate, yes, if you're appointed, if you're sponsored by Radiant, I will help every single person in Radiant that wants to do this as well. You pay for it, by the way. I don't pay for it. The best part is that it's only between $99 to $199, a one-time fee. So worst case scenario, you pay $200. It's up and running for one church. That's the fee per church. But like I said, I don't do this. I'm doing this for one church right now, but I only do them after I've made money because it has to pay. The money has to come from somewhere to be able to do that as well. It's really cool. Again, I think between the push notifications, the geo-fencing, so many other things that the full app does. It's on the App Store. It will be on the Google Play Store as well. And so whether they have a Droid or whether they have an iPhone, they're able to leverage the power of this app, and you will be the hero for this church. And again, you can brand this as much as you want or not at all. But my recommendation is this is something we don't do until we've actually made something from that church, meaning that we need the resources to be able to do this as well. And that's pretty much it. Let me just see. I think this is going to be it. It's pretty cool. It has the church name, the church logo. If they have a logo, if not, they can just use the generic one. And they can literally request prayers from a button. They can contact, they can call. We're working primarily with small to medium-sized churches. They don't have the resources that the mega churches do. And because technology is so important nowadays, they can even have, like some churches that I know that are streaming their service, they can tap on the actual app and take them directly to the feed to view it if they can't make it to church, and all that other good stuff as well. And so I encourage everybody to, again, become a little savvy. And, question that I was asked myself that I would ask you is, what did you learn? What did you learn this past week as it relates to marketing that you didn't know the week before? What course did you complete? What book did you read? What something? You can't be dragging the old version of yourself from 2 weeks ago into this week, or even the version of you from last week into this week. That's called struggling. That's called failing miserably. You want to make sure that you are a better person every week. That's what we do, weekly webinars. And so if you are the exact same person and you know exactly what you knew 2 weeks ago, well, last week was a waste, because your number one responsibility to yourself as an MLO is to learn how to market. You had how many courses did you take? I paid for one course for $58. I thought it was one of the best courses I've ever taken on organizing events, because I'm leveraging that with churches, police, and everything. I paid $60 online. It was the best $60 I spent in a long time. But every week I'm going to Cabo. Like I said, I'm not going there to drink and swim and all this other stuff. I'm going there primarily to just get away, recharge, and learn and focus. And my wife knows this, my daughter knows this. And when I go there, we do some things, but for the most part, nothing floats my boat more than just having my tablet, phone, or computer to learn, take a course and learn it. Because I can't come back from Cabo the same person I was when I went there. Doesn't mean you don't have fun. It just simply means you get your priorities straight. And so I'm challenging all of you to please don't let a week go by. I'm telling you that nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than you still being you, not having learned a thing, and letting 1 week go to waste, because we don't have that kind of time. And so I hope you make it a point to read a book. I hope you make it a point to take a course online. Do something that will position you to not just simply be a better version of yourself, but a better leader. In real estate and mortgages, I think in life and in business, nothing is better than passive income. We have opportunities where you can do that. Build somewhat of a team, just like in real estate, where you can be a broker and have other brokers or other people under you. But it's no fun if you can't lead them. You can help them make money. Then they make no money. You make no money. That's no fun. And then lastly, first of all, any questions about this right now? Any questions? You're going to mute yourself, please. All right, no questions. So we're about to turn the page, guys. And you know how it is. Don't call me during the week. Just don't do that. Don't call me about this church app thing, but we can ask away right here. Last thing I want to tell you is don't forget there are several people that are not going to listen to me and are going to see themselves not licensed because they lost their sponsorship. If you haven't done so, if you haven't switched from the DRE to the DBO, which is, of course, the Department of Financial Integrity and Innovation now, if you haven't done that yet, you're playing with fire. And I guarantee you there's going to be some people that are going to get left behind. And because they didn't have the time, they didn't know how. It's not that hard. You know, the regulations seem to change all the time, but we do have a video, for God's sakes, with the number to NMLS to call them to make sure that, hey, I'm switching from a DRE to the new DBO. What do I need to do? Because requirements change. And that class is on our actual YouTube channel, which is, of course, RMB on YouTube.com. Make sure you register. You go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click on the notifications bell. But if you haven't done so, tell me you're playing with fire, and you will get zero sympathy from anybody, by the way. When you had all this time, you just simply chose not to, or didn't give it enough priority. It is what it is. And so I want to make sure that no one gets left behind as it relates to that. Any questions, comments, concerns about anything, especially as it relates to what I spoke of or marketing for me before I hand it off to Rhett? If not, I'm going to go hand it off to Rhett in just 1 second. He has some really cool stuff to share with you, so I don't want to take any more of his time. So having said that, Rhett, it's all yours, sir.
Thanks, Javier. Good morning, everybody. I've got a couple things I want to share with you today that we're really excited about. Let me make sure I can share my screen. Okay. So a couple things, a couple comments first. NMLS, as Javier said, we need to make sure that if you're under the MLO endorsement, you need to get that added in, the DFPI added in, so that you don't have any downtime on that. I will tell you, I put all the information in to NMLS, and I was having issues walking myself through it because it kept asking me for things I didn't think I needed. But I called NMLS. I will tell you, I have never called a customer service line that has been more helpful. Every time I've talked to NMLS, every time anybody ever talks to me about talking to NMLS, they are just the most helpful people. So if you have any issues whatsoever, my issue was I didn't think I needed a background check, but when I called in, they said, sure enough, they do, because they suspect me of, I'm kidding, because it had been so long since I had got my license. They need new fingerprints. It's not really a background check they need on file, but they needed new fingerprints. So I have to go in and get my fingerprints, but it kept sticking me there. And but the guy was like so helpful, walked me through the rest of it, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I was done in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. But yeah, pretty cool. So but get that done, because just in case you're like me, you have to go through and get fingerprints, and because that's going to take a little bit of extra time now. And I had to update my ID, which they needed my passport or birth certificate, which I actually have at the office. And since I'm not working at the office, I didn't have access to this. So I got to get that this weekend too. So, but there's certain things that could take you a little bit of extra time. So you want to get that taken care of. You're probably noticing a little bit of a slowdown right now. You might be concerned. You might be more than concerned. I don't know. Some of you are down quite a bit. Overall, we're seeing about maybe a 25% drop in production. But an awful lot of that was or is because almost all of our loan officers are realtors. And a big portion of our business has been purchases. And as you realtors know, it's harder than hell right now to get something into escrow. It's hard to get something accepted and into escrow. And quite frankly, we don't see a we're not really seeing any kind of a slowdown on that, because as long as interest rates stay, south of 3.75, I would say, we're going to continue to have this influx of buyers, even more so, I think, because literally every day that goes by, there's good news on the horizon as far as the economy. California went from the worst with COVID infections to now we're the best. I mean, it's every day there's just such great news about what's going on with the vaccinations, with what's going on with the economy. As Javier was talking about last week, it's important. You got to get out there and our opinion anyway is you got to get vaccinated, get it done so that you're not having to worry about if you're going to try and do any of this marketing stuff with Javier, you've got to be vaccinated. He can't even get you in if you're not. But it's very easy right now. Walmart, I was in Walmart the other day picking up a prescription, and they had a big sign that said free vaccinations, no appointment needed, walk-ins welcome. And literally while I'm standing in line getting my prescription, the guy walks in, goes over to the counter and says, I want a vaccination. And he gets the vaccination shot while I'm in line for the prescription. So, it's not that difficult anymore. So if you've been waiting, don't wait any longer, and just get that done so that you're not having to worry about that. But overall production, like I said, down a little bit. It's funny, I was talking to Eliseo yesterday, and his production is actually up. I mean, he did turned in 4 loans this week, and I was talking to him. I said, hey, so what's going on? It looks like you're really cranking right now. You're busy. He said that I'm too busy. He said I have 5 more that I need to turn in that I should get in by Tuesday or Wednesday. I just didn't have enough time. And I've got Mother's Day, and we got a couple, got a couple parties going on. And he said, I've just been really busy, but he's very excited about, and all of these were actually refis. He does a lot of, he does a lot of refi and purchase business, but obviously the purchase business has slowed down a bit, but we're still doing a lot of pre-approvals. So as I said, we don't see the market getting any better because we don't see inventory getting any better. And that's really the issue right now, is there's just not enough inventory. So it's creating this huge seller's market. And again, as I say every time, make sure your buyers are prepared. They have the right expectations. I had a file come in this week where they were trying to figure out how to get enough money for a 3.5% down payment, and wanted to see if they can get down payment assistance. The down payment assistance programs, quite frankly, we're not even offering the Genoa program. I know everybody got an email that the company is offering that again. It was such a terrible program. I have no idea why they decided to bring that company back in. But as a branch, we have no intention of offering that program. Quite frankly, if there's no reason to try and even work with somebody who's trying to piece together scraps to have enough money for a down payment and closing right now, because at the end of the day, unless you're going after, a property that's been on the market for 2 months, everything's going at list price and above pretty much. And you don't want your borrower, especially a cash strapped borrower, paying for an inspection, paying for an appraisal, and then finding out that the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price, and the seller saying, either buy it or don't. You don't, I'll put it back on the market and sell it to somebody else. Because they just don't need to negotiate with you at this point. They know that they put it back on the market and they'll probably be back in escrow in a matter of days. So just be careful about making sure your borrowers have the right expectation. And Javier talks about this every week, about technology. He's always looking for new technology. He's always, as he said, learning about something new. He's taking courses, or he's finding a new program, a new app, or whatever the case may be. And it's very important right now, especially with what the pandemic did to us. I think the pandemic has put us in a position that technology that was moving fairly quickly is now moving much, much quicker, because it's forced us all to utilize technology more. And I think that there's a definite condensation, if you were, or compression rather, of time that's happening, because there's more and more people looking at how do we reach more clients, how do we reach more prospects, without having to leave our home, without having to leave our computer, and doing everything online, because I mean that's just where we're at right now. And what would have taken, I think, a number of years for adoption of it, and that's the real key here, is a lot of people who did not want to adopt technology have had to adopt the technology in order to continue doing business. So, if you think about that, and you think about how where people before, they didn't want to sit in front of their computer and watch a video, or be in a webinar, or talk to a client, or whatever the case may be. And now they have to, and they've had to do that. Because of all this, I think there have been more and more, much more hours put into this, and much more time and money put into this technology. And it's very exciting. But as Javier said, and it's very apropos, if what you knew and you thought you knew last year, or a few months ago, or 5 years ago, or I've always thought of myself, I'm the answer guy. Well, I'm not the answer guy anymore. Everything is changing so quickly. And Rosa tells me this all the time. I'll go in and I'll say, hey, I got a question for you. And I'll ask her, and she said, well, I got to look it up. I said, why? I asked, I know we talked about this before, but it's been a couple months. She said, I got to look it up. But why? Because things change all the time. She never goes based upon memory. She knows where to go to look for it. I tell people all the time, I get these questions all the time, and say, well, hey, how about this? Where do I find this? And I said, well, I would Google it. But Google is amazing. But Rosa knows where to go in the underwriting guidelines, where to go in the regs, the all regs for the different investors we have, and she just looks it up, because things change all the time. But technology is changing, and we've got to be at least on the wave, if not on the cutting edge, on the front edge of that, anytime we can. And Javier, thank you for everything you do regarding that, because without you out there looking, quite frankly, I don't have time to do that. I don't have the inclination like you do. I know, there are times I see emails from you at 2 o'clock in the morning, and again the next morning at 6 o'clock. I'm like, when does this guy sleep? But we really appreciate everything you do on that. And try and for those of you who are on the call today, congratulations. I think you need to be on this call every week that you can, because there's always something new, always something good. All right, with all that being said, we've been doing a lot of work on the back end, and we've made a lot of progress with the way things get done, in the integration between our branch and corporate. I used to say we were the top branch out of 26. Now we're in the top 2 every month out of 26 branches, 27 branches nationwide with HMAC. And it's giving us some good leverage on some new things that are coming out that they can't even talk to you about yet, that is going to help us even more. But what I want to introduce today is something that the corporate is working with us as we speak, and we're anticipating having everything online with them by June 1st. So 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Everything should be online with this program that or integration that I want to talk to you about. Actually, you know what? Javier, I'm gonna try and share my screen.
Okay.
And I'm hoping everybody can hear it. So let's.
I'll let you know if we cannot, Rhett. I'll let you know.
All right.
E-sign those disclosures. Select the desired loan.
Sorry, hold on.
This client go further into the process. Within the next 6 minutes, you will see this client go further into the process faster than you have ever seen before. You will see this buyer complete a loan application, authorize a credit report, select the desired loan, review disclosures, e-sign those disclosures, pay for a home appraisal, and at the end, receive an approval letter. Our buyer will click apply now, and in single sign-on fashion, be greeted by their assigned loan officer, who will always be hovering on top of the process with her. She'll begin by telling us a little bit about the loan she's looking for and the loan amount that she would like to attain. Supply additional information about how she will be applying and whether or not there will be a co-borrower. Since we already have a relationship with this client, we will pre-populate as much of the application process as possible using existing business relationships with this customer. This customer will essentially verify versus supplying new data at every point. She'll provide an address that she's looking to buy. If she doesn't have an address, we'll proceed as to be determined. She'll acknowledge and authorize a credit report pull. What's happening in the background is we've just hit a tri-merge credit report using your existing vendor. We will now populate certain fields of the application and take the borrower through a verification process. We still have the information from the income. We'll update the rent. Rent's gone up a little bit since the last time she applied. And if she ever needs help, we'll always be there for her through an embedded chat feature for live chat, which will notify the loan officer this person needs help, and they'll be able to utilize additional tools on the back end, such as co-browsing, to walk the borrower through the entire process in real time. Continuous data validation will play an important role. In this case, we know they're buying a townhome and there should be HOA dues, so we remind them to go back and double check. We'll make sure the employment data is still correct. And we have existing banking relationships with them, so we've already pre-populated these fields with the account numbers. They can always add additional assets if they have accounts somewhere else. Liabilities are pre-populated from the credit report we've just pulled, with the ability for the borrower to make adjustments if necessary. She will make her declarations and go through some demographic information and offset those. Review her application before she submits it to you for a decision, looking at the middle FICO, the loan to value ratio, and then submitting the application. And at this point, what we're doing is we're hitting your product and pricing engine. This is your vendor, and we will also be able to hit automated underwriting with the GSE simultaneously at the same time if you wish, coming back with conditionally approved loans using real data from this borrower. A congratulatory message will greet them. The borrower can click on the details of the loan to see the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance total, transparently viewing all of the fees, and then choosing the loan they want to move forward with. At this stage in the process, what we're doing is we're hitting your document vendor. This is your vendor using the existing document stack that you already have in place. We will pull that stack back within our portal in lights out fashion. The borrower will review these documents with someone they trust, with their real estate agent, with their loan officer, and if everything looks good, they'll say, I'm ready to sign these documents. So at this point, what we're doing is either using your document vendor's existing e-sign technology or layering an external partner like DocuSign on top of the documents in order to be able to fulfill the e-sign part of the process. This is a full document stack you will see, typical of initial disclosures for a single borrower applying for a purchase loan. Joe will take us through an e-sign process where our buyer sets their signature and begins signing away. A lot of people say this is the actual speed in which borrowers really do sign. That's our tax transcript. We'll square that away. The loan estimate we just breezed by. And if she's satisfied, she'll click finish, in which case now we'll let the document vendor and the e-sign vendor do what they need to do to create the audit trail, the e-sign certificate, and everything we've captured up to this point will seamlessly push into your loan origination system. Within these documents was an intent to proceed and a borrower authorization. Capturing these at the point of sale is very important because it allows the lender to capture an appraisal payment. Here, Joe will enter the real estate agent information, in which case the appraiser will contact them to set up the appraisal. The agent will also receive an email notification, creating an agent portal for them to be able to view status, upload documents, and participate on that loan. The next stage of the process will be a credit card payment. So this buyer will enter their credit card information. Very shortly. They'll enter their credit card information, in which case we will be authorized to charge this account, sending the money to the bank or the appraiser, securing that appraisal payment. Once this part of the process is done, the borrower will be dropped off into a loan dashboard. And the loan dashboard is really the communication gateway between this buyer and the lender. This is where they will go back to send required documentation to you for initial underwriting. Joe showcased the upload button. You can do this from any device. Any file format will convert to PDF format. And of course, everything will be pushed into the LOS. And at the very end, we'll supply this borrower with what they've been looking for, a conditional approval letter they could share with their real estate agent and include with future offers. We are BeSmartee. You've just seen a borrower go from start to initial underwriting and appraisal payment within 6 minutes. Thank you very much for your time. Well done, BeSmartee.
All right, I'm back. So what do you think? Anybody?
Fantastic.
Wow.
Excellent. When are we going to get it?
Impressive.
We're very excited about this. You know, and just a few comments. First of all, completely and totally secure. I know every once in a while we get a comment from somebody saying, hey, my borrower is afraid of emailing documents. Well, this program is 100% secure with financial compliance. It's when they upload their documents, everything they do, the application they complete, the documents they upload, everything is imported directly into LendingQB as well. So as the borrowers are doing these, you're getting all this information. You don't have to re-enter it. You don't have to import it. You don't have to do any of those things because it's all happening in our system. And if you didn't notice, one of the things they talk about is if the borrower's having issues, they can click on the chat button and they can request that either help via you, and you can call them or you can join them on your computer and see exactly where they're at in the process and walk them through it in real time every step of the way. It's very exciting technology. It's very simple to use, as you saw. This is going to be something that you can either you'll be able to put this on, as I mentioned last week or the week before, we're in the process of creating a completely new website for Radiant Mortgage Bank. You will each have your own landing page, agent page on that. and you can have in your email signature, you can push people to your landing page, and in that landing page, you can push them right to this application. There's just so many ways that you're going to be able to utilize this. Depending upon, I mean, sometimes you may have a borrower that is technology savvy and you know, has the ability to do this all on their own. You'll notice that he already had it pre-populated with a lot of information. So oftentimes, you know, you may have gone through and maybe they've already sent you documents, or you already had a conversation, or you have a little bit of information. You can actually pre-populate it for them, and then they just go through and verify and correct or revise anything that needs to be done, which would make it a lot quicker, which is how they did it in 6 minutes. But you know, think about the timing involved here and everything that's going on. You may have missed the fact that he said one of the things that it also does is it issues automated underwriting approvals for the GSE. GSE is government-sponsored entity or enterprise, and it's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So they're actually, when they hit that submit button and they've got the credit report in there and they've completed all their information, it's actually issuing a DU approval. So at the end, you saw that pre-approval letter. That pre-approval letter is actually backed up by an AUS approval. And that pre-approval letter, then at the end, you notice that he put in the realtor information. So think about how this will work with for those of you who are working with realtors. Adebayo, you need to mute yourself. Think about how this is going to work with your realtors that you're working with, and how beneficial this could be. Because on top of everything else, there we go. On top of everything else, the realtor, you can allow the realtor to have a portal to see the status of what's going on. So, you know, it's like, you know, a lot of realtors say, well, you know, I need to know what's happening. My loan officer falls off the face of the earth after the loan gets submitted, you know. So they're always looking to try and get more information. And by being able to give them the ability to watch the status, they can't see any of the financial personal information, but they'll be able to find the status. And, you know, there's times that we need things from the realtor. They'll get notification of that. It's just some really, really cool technology. And again, totally secure, totally simple, totally integrated into LendingQB, totally integrated into our pricing engine, into our automated underwriting system. And you'll notice that we went, you know, from literally having the conversation, completing the application, getting the credit report, running the DU, and having all the documents. Because if they upload their documents right there, you've got the disclosures done. That's all done. You've got literally, it could go directly from there through the processor who just checks everything and right into underwriting. So we think this is going to dramatically reduce the amount of time it takes to close a loan. And it's also integrates directly into something I've been talking about for 1.5 years, which is Fannie Mae Day One Certainty, because it has the ability to that we on the back end, we can go in and input the banking information and input the if it's a large employer, work number information, and that gets fed into DU for the Day One Certainty, which reduces the amount of documentation we'll need and dramatically reduces the time frame needed to close these loans. So this is something that we're very excited about. There's a lot of work going into this. The next couple of weeks, they're doing a lot of customizing for us. It will say they're doing it for all the larger branches. So when you send that out, it will be branded to Radiant Mortgage Bank. And you are the loan officer on any, you have your own link. You're the loan officer. and all your information is there. And we're just very excited about it. So again, hopefully the plan is June 1st, that gets kicked off. By June 1st, there may be a couple other announcements that I'll have for you, but a lot of good stuff going on right now. Again, we're trying to stay on that cutting edge of technology, trying to stay ahead of the curve, and giving you all the tools you need to be successful. You know, between what we're doing on the back end with the actual underwriting and processing side of things, what Javier's teaching you on a weekly basis as far as marketing and all the technology and everything that comes with that, there's just no excuse. There really isn't. I mean, the only excuse is you're just too damn lazy to do anything. So, because I'm telling you, there's so many people out there that want to buy a house. There's so many people out there that still, believe it or not, there's a ton of people out there that need to refinance. That need to cash out, or whatever the case may be, lower their rate. You know, now they're thinking maybe they missed the boat. They're waiting for interest rates to go down. Now they're going back up. They came back down a little bit the last couple of weeks. We're back down in the 2.75 range for FHA, 3.25 range for conventional. Get out there, talk to people, move your lips, just do what you got to do, because we're providing you all the tools, but we're not going to give you our money. Javier says this all the time. You know, we're willing to give you our time, give you our experience, but we're not going to give you our money. And you know, but you go out there and make a fortune. I mean, this is a great business. Real estate and loans the industries have been such a benefit. And you know, Rose and I are so grateful because it's done so much for our family, and so much for the legacy of us and our children. And you know, I wish all of that on all of you, because it's just I can't imagine any other business that I could have gotten into and not been in jail, because I couldn't have made this kind of money on anything else that I can think of. And so just do what you got to do. Javier, unless anybody has any questions, that's what I got.
Cool. Thank you so much for everything. And I think it's a great, exciting update to know that we are heading in the right direction. And it validates the fact that being here with Radiant Mortgage Bank, it's about the best thing that could have happened to you as a loan officer, giving you such a great fighting chance at achieving the success that you want. Having said that, the only other thing that I want to just add is that, like Brett said, a lot of it has to do with what you do with what you know and what you have. And so that's why I challenge everybody to go out there and knock it out of the ballpark. And it starts with the desire and knowing what it is you want. And for most people, the greatest challenge I've seen in helping, coaching, and doing so much always revolves around people sometimes not knowing what they really want. So I think you have to definitely take a moment, excuse me, when you read that book that I gave you, Think and Grow Rich, step 1 talks about it. In step 2, step 3, I mean, it just walks you through everything. Desire is the starting point of all success. And so part of that is envisioning what it is that you want. And so when I ask people, what do you want? I just want to close a lot of loans, or I just want to close a lot of real estate transactions. I know, but there's got to be more to it than that, because once you start to encounter the challenges of closing a loan, you might give up, or it might not be for you. So you have to have, again, that really strong will, and it representing something you want. That for me, a lot of it has to do with, options. A lot of it has to do with helping other people, helping organizations, and so on, that whether I feel good or bad, I have to do what I have to do in order to achieve the success that I know I'm destined to achieve as well. So any questions from anybody about anything before we wrap it up? I just remind you to please make sure you visit RMB on YouTube.com. That's our YouTube channel. And when you go there, make sure you go ahead and click on the subscribe button and the notifications bell to the right that will notify you of all new videos, messages, trainings that we do, that we host on YouTube. That way we don't have to be emailing you. People sometimes ask me, I didn't get the email or whatever. Well, just subscribe to the channel. YouTube will notify you automatically, and then we can go ahead and take it from there. Questions, comments, or concerns from anybody, please, before we wrap it up. Anybody at all? Anybody?
Javier, I got one question. It's regarding a VA loan. The 2 additional things that you need is like a DD 214, and there's one more, said it called a verification eligibility. Is that the only 2 additional things the VA person needs?
Yes, certificate of eligibility in the DD 214. They won't always have them. they typically have their certificate of eligibility, but they may have put the DD-214 away. DD-214, to kind of give you an idea, DD-214 outlines all of the service of the military person. Okay, it tells everything about it. It's like a resume. Okay, the certificate of eligibility tells you the amount that the borrower is capable of borrowing. Full eligibility is $36,000. There's a complicated formula. Don't worry about it. It's just full. If it comes back and you see, well, they're only qualified to borrow $36,000. That's not the way it works. Full eligibility is $36,000. Okay, so there are times when they may not have full eligibility. They still may qualify, by the way, but there are times they may not have full eligibility. But there's a formula for us to go in and be able to calculate how much they actually qualify for. Sometimes it's because their eligibility has not been restored, and that's just a matter of getting it restored. The other thing that we look at on the certificate of eligibility is their exempt status. So if they are exempt, if it says exempt, that's typically due to a work-related injury or disability, and it means they don't have to pay the funding fee with VA. And the VA funding fee is very expensive. It's first-time use is just over 2%, and subsequent use is like 3.25%. I mean, it's huge. It is financeable. They don't have to pay it out of pocket. I had a VA deal come in this last week, and we were competing with somebody else, and they were making, for whatever reason, it was Quicken, and they were making the client pay the VA funding fee out of pocket. It was a VA purchase. Quite frankly, I think it was just the loan officer didn't know any better, because it just didn't make any sense at all to me that they would make them pay it out of pocket. But that's what we use the COE for, the certificate of eligibility. If they don't have either one, we still have the possibility of pulling that ourselves, because one of our processors has direct access to the VA portal, and she can go in and with their IDs, she's able to put in all the information, and oftentimes can download directly from the portal. That does not always work. There are times that we don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. There are times that we cannot. And then in that case, if they don't have it already and we can't get it from the portal, they actually have to go down to the VA and get a copy of those items directly. But typically, we're able to either get it from them, the DD-214 and the COE, or directly online at the portal.
And just to follow up on that, what I'm sharing on the screen, I sent everybody a link via the chat on how to do this. So I'm not going to go through it. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It's called the VIP, Veteran Information Portal, and it literally walks through. If you have somebody in that situation, it literally, if they're not registered, it shows them how to register, how to input the information, how to complete it, and get their COE, which is the Certificate of Eligibility, online. And it's right there, easiest, simplest way. On an absolute worst case scenario, like Rhett said, they can go to either West LA to the Veterans Administration Building and literally get it on the spot. That's how I got mine. I literally just went, this is a long time ago, just went down there and grabbed it on the spot. So again, it's in your chat box. Copy the link or download the document right now. All right.
I saw that, Javier. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right. Anybody else, please, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that if the service member who's getting the VA loan, if he is actually disabled, 10% disabled, they don't have to pay the funding fee, but they also have to prove it. So they would need to submit the benefit verification letter that would show how much it is disabled and how much money they were getting from the VA forever. So definitely we gotta have that.
Thank you for that too. I appreciate it.
Always ask them that you know, and some people think disability, they think that you have to be, you know, a wheelchair, that kind of, and it's not true. You know, we got a lot of people from cops to teachers, they were veterans, but they got what's called service-connected disability, and he's right. They could be working, so don't assume it just because they were veterans, but yet he's a firefighter or a cop, or he's not disabled. They could have, there's different forms of disability that they can qualify for. It saves them a lot of money, so always ask them for it's technically called the award letter. Ask them for it, and you'll be their hero. Thank you, Raymond. Really good point.
Yeah, thank you, Javier, and thank you, Rhett. And quick question, Rhett, right after the meeting, if I do have any questions, can I give you a quick call?
Sure.
Thank you, Rhett. Alrighty. Thank you, guys.
Everybody else, please. If not, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day for all the moms, and to please everybody else say hi and congratulate your mother, whether she's with us or not. I just want to thank my mom and all the moms out there for everything that they've done to for so many and so selflessly continue to do so. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And no one has any other questions or concerns. Just thank you so much for your time. Hope it's worth it. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. And let's go out there and make this coming week the most productive week in the history of our MLO business as well. Thank you.